for the Yorktown Central School District Board of Education meeting for August 24, 2015. Can I have a motion to go into executive session for the matters pertaining to the employment history of particular individuals and contractual negotiations?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Yorktown Central School District Board of Education meeting for August 24th, 2015. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence for the Sean Carney's father, Margaret Saget's mother, and the father of Carol Fiore. Sorry, Sajese, sorry. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, I'm going to, so let me just get to it. Sorry, I just have a few technical difficulties. Okay, I should be on now. Can I have a point of order? Can we move one item up to the top of the agenda?
You as president have the right to do that.
Yes.
So nice. Personal. Can I have a motion to appoint Danielle Shiana as the assistant principal of the middle school?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Welcome.
Welcome.
She's over there.
So congratulations, Danielle, and welcome. We're happy to have you here. As the community would know, this past summer, our longstanding middle school principal, Linda Grimm, retired, and we're very blessed and fortunate that her assistant principal, Marie Horowitz, went through a rigorous process and has become the new principal of Mildred E. Strang Middle School. And now we can actually say you are the principal because Linda is officially retired. And with, of course, Marie's elevation to the principalship, we had a vacancy for the assistant principal position. I think that Danielle went through a pretty rigorous process, and Marie would agree with that, and probably came in and saw lots of committees and was asked to do a lot of work. And at the end of the day, there were two finalists, and it was Danielle and another very worthy candidate. I know that the committee must have done a great job because the two finalists were both excellent. But at the conclusion of the final interview, we really did feel, it was something that Danielle said that really touched my heart. She's a workaholic. And you know, you came to the right place because this is workaholic as you can never imagine it. So I think that was really the thing that she actually said it different. She said it differently than I'm making it sound. I think Dr. O'Connor said to her, what would you like to work on? Because Danielle told us all the things that she had worked on over the years to get where she was. And then Dr. O'Connor said, what would you like to work on? And she said, I think I'd like to give a little bit of time to having a personal life, because all I ever do is work. And I thought, oh my God, I remember this many, many years ago. And sometimes that never changes. But yes, it's a goal. It's a good goal. So we do welcome you. What you'll find immediately is Mildred E. Strang Middle School is an absolutely wonderful school. Our students are simply great, and we love them, and I'm sure you will too. And we have a wonderful faculty and staff here that you'll come to know very easily and that you'll be very fond of in a short time. And your partners, Mrs. Horowitz and Mr. Shiland, are simply the best. So this is going to be a great place to grow and develop and maintain your stride and go exactly where you want to get to. You will have many opportunities here to develop and grow and flourish as an educator. So welcome, and we're happy to have you. Sure thing.
Welcome. Okay.
Yep.
Want to go back up to the top of the agenda then? We'll go to our superintendent's report.
Yes.
Oh, public comment. Oh, I'm sorry, we have public comment. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak on agenda-related items only? No. Now we can go to the superintendent's report.
So the superintendent's report really centers around the superintendent's action plan. And boy, did I have a great copy of the action plan to distribute to you tonight. But guess where it is? It's in the office, but I will bring it by later on.
That's okay.
So what we work on over the course of the summer is there are 5 board goals, and I was actually explaining this to Danielle today. There are 5 broad board goals that really surround our operation. One is curriculum and instruction, and with that is pupil personnel services and character education. The second one, of course, is finance, because we have to fund the wonderful education that the students receive here. The third one is communication. How do we communicate among ourselves? How do we communicate with the parents? And how do we communicate with the community at large? The fourth one is technology, and what Patrice can tell you, our Director of Technology, is here tonight, is technology has grown and blossomed and has really become something huge for our district. And so that's always being upgraded and changed and made more available to our students. And fifth would, of course, be facilities. And when you have an opportunity, Danielle, particularly to go to all of our buildings, you'll see that our facilities are absolutely beautiful, and our Director of Facilities is here this evening. So then what we do with those 5 goals is we work with the administrators, and we try to envision what would be important things, what we set as tasks and goals to do over the course of the school year in each of those categories. And while some of the things would be repeats because they're ongoing, many of the things are new. And what Joanne was kind enough to do for us today, which you would have appreciated, Jackie, and if it's online, isn't it beautiful? It's missing because she actually made hard copies. Dennis, I may send you over, if you don't mind, to my office, and we might be able to get them. Joanne was kind enough to actually highlight in yellow everything that's new.
Oh, really?
So,
What do you have?
it's there? You have it?
No, we don't have it.
3 of
Yeah,
them.
we only have 2
No,
of
all right,
pages.
so-
We're missing stuff.
We're missing,
My
and 3
office,
and 5.
Dennis. Either my desk or maybe the conference room desk.
Yeah, it might be the backs.
You think it's here?
No, I think that
It might be the
should have
back.
scanned 2 sides, we only got scanned 1 side.
All right, so at any rate,
Technical glitches.
we worked very diligently on the goals. I think the board had an opportunity to look at a draft copy. So, and you did incorporate 5 or 6 suggestions. We worked, I think, all but one in, and there was a reason for that, so I'll have to visit that with you. And I think we have a really great design for moving forward. And here it is. This must be the draft copy, no?
Yeah.
All right, so
Is
we
here the final copy?
have a final copy.
Okay. All right. You don't need an action from us, though, right?
No. I just wanted you to know that it's ready.
Thank you.
And it's very good.
And I want to thank you for including all of the board's comments in there.
As
So I
always.
appreciate that. Yes, we really do
Very
appreciate that.
thoughtful.
Communication in here.
Yep, communication should be there.
Okay, we're all good.
So when you get the copy that Dennis brings back, hopefully that he can find, you'll see all the things that are new, and we'll review that with the community.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
And then once we have it reviewed, then we can just we'll make it public on the website?
Perfect. Yep.
Okay, Perfect.
Closer to you.
You need closer to me?
Yeah, because you're like 16 miles away.
I don't want to be heard. All right.
You're doing a good job of that.
Oh, and I think I just wanted to talk about
Sorry.
the administrators retreat.
Yep.
So the other big conversation is we have 2 retreats as a administrative team. One occurs at the end of June. The purpose of that one is really to reflect upon the school year and how the year went. We talk about all the things that we felt very good about, that we accomplished, that we thought was wonderful for the kids. We talk about some of the challenges and how we overcame those particular challenges. We talk about some of the things that may still be challenges moving forward and what would be the plan as we move forward with those particular challenges. And we also talk about personal goals, what we think would be important for us to work on during the course of the upcoming year. And we talk about the superintendent's action plan. And then we kind of break for the summer, although again, as you know, as an administrative team, mostly everybody's around for a large part of the summer, at least 5 weeks. And at the end of the summer, today, we regroup, we review our notes from June, we make sure that the action plan is strong and that the goals that are listed for the board's review are important, B, manageable, and C, something that we're able to really give evidence of. We try not to, although we have lofty goals, we try to make all of our goals measurable so that we can say, at the conclusion of the year, we accomplished this, and this would be the evidence that would demonstrate that we accomplished this particular goal. And as I explained earlier, some of the goals are repetitive. So one of the goals that the board would see, so this would be an example, is somewhere here it's going to speak to the fact that we're, at this point, we're doing a curriculum review for the World Language Program. We started that curriculum review last year. We've not completed it. So it will continue on to this year because it just would take more than a year to review the World Language Program for the middle school and the high school. So that's something that we've started, we'll continue to work on. Then there would be other things that perhaps are something rather new, to analyze and develop, so this would be a new one, to analyze and develop STEAM opportunities for student learning in our K-12 alignment of curriculum. So we had already begun working on STEM, now we're looking at STEAM, and we want to make sure that we have a curriculum that connects from kindergarten to the 12th grade. So that's something new and that, of course, we'll be working on with great diligence. Again, I'm not going to bore you with it because this is something that I'd like you to review yet once more, see if everything that you asked for us to incorporate is present, and if there's anything that has come to you that's new, I'd love to hear about it, and we will certainly give it our attention.
So if Dennis finds those papers, when do you want to, that's okay, do you want to have comments by next Friday? When do you want to have comments by, because school is going to start?
Yeah, I would say as soon as possible.
So let's set a time frame so that we have them, he found them. So today is Monday, is Friday okay? Is next Monday okay to have comments back if there's any?
I'm good with Friday, because we just
Friday?
gotta look it over and.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right,
because
Friday
this is
morning.
just-
So
this
get
is
me
just-
comments by Friday morning, and then I'll forward them on to Ralph if there's any kinds of,
This is the done copy.
This is
That's
the
the
done
done
So
copy.
it's done, so we're just commenting on.
So-
Yvette, could you send out a reminder on Thursday? Thank you. I love this team, but you know.
you.
Yep, this is good.
Thank you.
Yeah, throw that
Oh,
one
you did a
out.
wonderful job.
So just again, to show the community what I was talking about,
Nice.
I did ask Joanne to highlight all of the new items. So you can see that wherever there's a highlighted item
Oh, that's awesome.
under any particular goal, that would be a change from the previous year. Wherever it's wherever it stands alone, that would simply be a goal that's continuing. And then just one more important thing about the superintendent's action plan, and then I'll stop.
Okay.
All of the principals, I guess two more important things, all of the principals will base their own school goals on the superintendent's action plan. So what they basically do is they'll look at those things that are important in the building, they'll translate that for their age group, and they will make sure that those goals are shared with the faculty and that everybody's working toward making sure that that occurs, so that we're all on the same page. That's very important to us. And then twice during the year, we review with the community our progress with the goals. So we try to do that generally in January is usually a good time because we've accomplished a lot by January. So we can simply say, that's been done, take it off the list, that's been done, take it off the list. And then in June, if there's something that's completed by that time, we would review it again. And then if there's something that's ongoing, we would simply say, like the world language example that I gave, that's something that we started. We do hire a consultant for that. We work with our world language teachers. We work with our principals. And we will continue to focus on that this year until we have the program in a condition that we feel we're moving forward with for the benefit of our students. And the entire action plan is really based on obviously the needs and the interests of our students and what supports those needs and interests. So, thank you. How did you?
Thank you.
Did you find it easily, Dennis? Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for jogging.
Ralph, I have one other thing that's not on the superintendent's report, but I don't know if it's worth mentioning, because
Yeah,
the school
please.
opens up for the students, they're gonna come into the elementary schools and see new entryways. So do you wanna explain what happened and what our new processes are for entry into the building for parents and things, so everybody is on the same page?
Sure. So I think as the community knows, several years ago, we had made a decision that we would put new security lobbies in all of our buildings. We thought that an extra layer of security would be unfortunately sad for us to say in today's day and age. You have to be concerned about the things that you wouldn't have been concerned about years ago. So we started actually in our high school building, and that was where the first security entrance was placed.
Yes.
Then this year, this past year, of course, it was the middle school, and now this past summer, it was the 3 elementary buildings and the district office. So what parents will notice when they come into the building now is that they will not have as an easy access. Again, we're not trying to inconvenience anybody, but it's simply the way of ensuring that the children are protected at all times during the course of the day. So they will make their way into a restricted area of the building where they'll be greeted by a security guard. He will ask for their purpose. They will state what their purpose is. Hopefully they've called ahead to say what that is, so that if there's a particular teacher that they're meeting with, the teacher would meet them at the door, and everything kind of connects. They've called in advance. The security guard knows they're coming. The teacher has made his or her way to the area, and the parent would go further from that entry point. If they don't know in advance that the parent is coming, again, that would be a principal's call to determine whether or not there's a reason for the parent to be there at that particular time, and what would warrant the parent having access to the building. So again, it's an extra layer of protection. Tom, you may want to speak more to it because you've really done a lot of work on it.
It's a means by which we can vet people visiting the buildings, rather than having people be able to walk in the front door and be right in the building. There's a way station, if you will, a security vestibule, where we make sure that everybody has an appointment, a particular reason for being there. We're not so much concerned about parents who have called ahead, but about the unannounced visitors who may be trying to gain access to our buildings. This will allow us to make sure that they truly belong there before they do have access into the building where the children are.
Perfect.
This protects our students, it protects our staff. It also just helps maintain an even school day without a lot of interruptions that maybe aren't so necessary.
Absolutely.
So to the credit of our architects and of course, our project managers and Dennis, our facilities director, the buildings, I know the board has seen, well, I shouldn't say that. Some of you have seen all of the work in all of you will see it tomorrow.
We saw the admin
But
today.
many of you will see that work, and it's been done beautifully. Even our own building is really exceptional. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you, and it's still welcoming, but it's restrictive, and I do believe that's a good thing. So we're not trying to lose the personal touch. We still want people to feel very welcomed and accepted in our schools, but we want to know who's coming, when they're coming, why they're coming, and what their need is to come. And again, it's for the steadiness of the day and the safety of the students and the staff.
And this is the way most schools are going. My understanding is Lakeland did a huge project this summer. This was recommended to us by our security consultant, Michael Dorn. So this is the way, unfortunately, of school now. But I'm quite happy with the work, and I don't think it doesn't look restrictive when you
No, it
walk in.
doesn't.
It's very welcoming. It's
It
not,
is.
they're not pens or anything like that. It's just a way to manage the flow for the day.
Yeah, that's great. So
All
we
right.
had a great retreat today, I do believe, and everybody was excited. You know what I love about the team is everybody's excited to be back. Everybody's looking forward to an exceptional school year, and most particularly, we can't wait for the kids to arrive because that's what our business is. So when the children are here, we'll feel the value of our presence here is more pertinent, I suppose. It's valuable being here all summer working, but you kind of lose sight of what you're working for. When the kids are back, your focus is always in front of you, and you never lose sight of that important piece. So we're very proud of that. So we had a good day, and here we are.
Okay.
And forgive us, we're very casual because we're on vacation, but you would
Not
never know
anymore.
that because we just never seem to be really on vacation. But it is nice to be casual. Yes? Good.
So now we're up to our education report. Florence?
Evening, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure to share with you some of the work and the programs that took place in the district this summer. We were very pleased that we ran again this year a summer reading program, and 47 students from the K-3 level who had been recommended by their teachers participated in this program. The teachers I visited many times, and they really was so well run and so focused. They were very theme driven, and the students learned a lot, and they really did so well, so we were very pleased. The pupil personnel department ran their traditional extended school year program. Lisa O'Shea and Mike Rosen drive this and take care of this program. 28 of our students who are recommended by the CSE, by the Committee on Special Education, attended the program. And as always, it ran beautifully and was a very high-level functioning program. Very proud of that work. Our teachers have the ability, thanks to the Board of Education and the superintendent, have the ability to apply for summer curriculum work. So many of our K-12 teachers worked on enhancing and developing their curriculum to be sure that they're on top of all the new changes and the standards to get ready for the new school year. And this work will continue on August 27th when we have our Professional Development Day. Everyone is always learning in Yorktown, and our administrators attended a lead evaluator training for several years now. Dr. Jackie Taylor is our trainer, and we love to meet with her. She helps us work on inter-rater reliability in our evaluations, and we always do a lot of great team learning. We worked on our goal development as well. We continue to work on them as the board works to develop the superintendent's action plan and the goals. We have some upcoming events. A couple of these events have been mentioned. Tomorrow we have a new teacher orientation that will take place on August 26th. The next day, Dr. Napolitano hosts the opening day for staff. And then directly following on August 27th, we have a professional development day that we're very excited about. We have several trainers that come in to work with us. We pay for some of these high-level content specialists through our grants. And the work is always well received by the teachers, and we believe that these days are highly productive in terms of learning for our students ultimately. Just to share with you, and this is the helicopter view of the professional development, and I know this is so familiar to the board because the themes continue to run in our district. We continuously work on the alignment of our curriculum, on integrating the Common Core standards. We've been working on student learning objectives, a strategy called close reading. We've been developing our math program, writing across the curriculum, and technology integration. Google Classroom has been mentioned. And this year we're going to expand the Tech Tuesdays, and particularly the cohort learning. That's when teams of teachers work together to really learn high levels of technology to use with our students in the classroom. And we always use K-12 student data. We get better and better at the use of student data all the time. On this particular professional development day on August 27th, we'll be working closely in these areas that you see before you in the content, the 4 content areas. We have a trainer coming who's working in what's called the social studies frameworks. That's the new Common Core interpretation of how students what students and how students should be learning social studies. We began last year with an online assessment that's administered 3 times a year to students in kindergarten through grade 8, and we'll be working with a facilitator to unpack those data and to link it to immediate resources for use. And we'll continue to work with, we have a gentleman named Greg Duncan who comes to and works with us, and he's conducting a world language review, so that will take place on the 27th. On the same day, we'll also be integrating Chromebooks and Google Classroom. That's a huge project in our district that's been so successful. Teachers will be trained, particularly teachers will be trained in behavioral interventions and in integrated co-teaching class adaptive materials, how to make materials or adapt materials for the integrated co-teaching classes. And those are blended classes of special needs and general ed students that have been very successful. And I'll just end this brief overview with our belief. I know this is very familiar to you for many years now, many years in the district. We have believed and have acted on the idea that when school organization and board policy reinforce a focus on curriculum and they embody clear and high-level expectations for the range of quality that's delivered in the curriculum, we know that a broader range of students learn at higher levels. It's just been proven. So that's really why we do the work we do. And we thank you, and our students thank you.
Thank you, Florence. Thank you. Anybody have questions? Christine? Anthony? Tom? Mike? Karen?
No, thank you.
One comment. I just want to thank the administration for the continuing on Tech Tuesdays, because I can't imagine how hard it is for the teachers to keep up with the technology as it increases, but as the kids' knowledge increases, so that we're expanding it and constantly allowing them to keep ahead of it is great. And the cohort teaching is what we had when, what was it, the fourth graders came last year?
Yes.
And they had us, was that the cohort teaching?
Yes,
Oh, that's awesome.
that's an example of it, yeah.
That's terrific.
It's been very powerful, so we'll share some of that good news as time goes on.
Terrific. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank
what
you,
do we-
Patrice.
All right, we're up to policies. So Karen, you can have this one.
Why, thank you, Jackie.
Okay.
So we had a pretty productive summer. We've finalized a number of policies that you guys got the first rough draft of, and they're going to be first reading at our next September meeting. And the one that we're proposing tonight is really, it's just an update of our current policy, 5281. They're changing the name of it. This is, everybody's trying to be consistent in all of the school districts and throughout New York State. It's now going to be called the Athletic Placement Process for Interschool Athletic Program, whereas it used to be called, do I even have that one? That was for the 8th grade classification eligibility for, it's basically the criteria. The what?
That's what it was called.
Oh, the 8th grade athletic selection and classification. I got that pretty good. Who knew? So we just made the process a little easier for parents to understand, and we changed the order to be in alignment with some of the other districts as well as to who do you go first, and the exhibits are going to be made available for all of the parents. So if anybody has any questions on that, I know I've emailed a few of you on that. And, but we would like to do a first read and a vote on it because time is of the essence with this policy since the high school athletic year has started. So does anybody have any questions on this policy? Because normally we do a first read and then we do a second read, but this is an existing policy, but if we could modify it just for today. There's no substantive changes.
Good.
Anthony, Christine,
Good.
questions? Tom, Mike? I just, and I know this sounds stupid, but during normal business hours, Monday through Friday, if you're a middle school student, you should know it should be high school business hours, which are different than middle school business hours.
Well, Jackie, that is a really good point. So we will put high school business hours or the actual times down.
Yeah.
Yvette, if you could just modify that. So with that change, is there anything else that anybody wants to comment on?
You guys okay?
Yep.
All right.
Do we need a
Yes.
vote?
Yes.
And I have a motion to accept policy 5281 with its proposed changes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank Theo for all his hard work on it. Okay. We are up to board action items. Board minutes. Can I have a motion to accept the board minutes from the July 8th, 2015 meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Treasurer's report. A motion to approve the revisions to the treasurer's report for June 2015 and July 2015.
So moved.
Did you read that? Oh, yeah. So, second.
Just a comment,
I was just
Tom,
looking at that.
I really appreciated having the full year. Did everybody else, when you were able to get it month to month and you have a beginning and an end, was that more helpful to you for them to continue this year like that?
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Claims audit report, a motion to accept the claims audit report for June, July, and August 2015.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? A motion to accept the extra classroom activity fund reports for June and July of 15. You need to change that.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have business office. All right, we've got a few motions. Be it resolved upon recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Yorktown Board of Education hereby empowers the Board President to enter into an agreement with KSQ Architects and Aris Contracting for the development and execution of the district's 5-year capital facilities plan. Said plan is a requirement of the New York State Education Department as outlined in the New York State Education Department Commissioner's Regulation, Part 155.1 and Part 155.3. KSQ Architects' fee will include all survey, design, planning, and reporting services to identify the district's 5-year capital projects at a lump sum cost of $82,323. Aris Contracting Company's fee will include review, inspection, and construction cost estimating services for the district's 5-year capital projects as identified by KSQ for a lump sum cost of $19,160. The Board of Education hereby authorizes and empowers the school district to execute an agreement with KSQ Architects and Aris Construction Company for the same.
So moved.
Second?
All
Is
those.
this on the agenda?
Yeah, 8.01.
You
Yes.
don't have it?
I have extension of food service contract.
You don't have 5-year capital facilities plan, 8.01, the first thing under the business office?
Did the wrong date.
Maybe I have the wrong agenda. Oh. Okay.
Refresh it.
And the 5-year capital plan is a unfunded mandate, right, Jackie?
Yes, it's an unfunded mandate.
Just thought I'd throw that out there for the new school year. Boom.
We starting to keep count already?
1. Go ahead.
Tom, write the numbers down. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now we have 2015-16 capital projects, CM and design services. Resolved, the Yorktown Central School District Board of Education approved the contract with Aris Contracting Incorporated for the construction management services as it relates to the 15-16 budgeted capital projects, including the tennis court renovation and the installation of electrical lines to the lower athletic field at the high school. The total contract value not to exceed $52,000. Be it further resolved upon recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Yorktown Board of Education hereby empowers the Board President to enter into agreement with KSQ Architects for design service fees associated with the said school year operating budget for capital projects, the tennis court replacement, and the buried electrical service to the Charlie Murphy Field for a total contract amount of $38,500. The Board of Education hereby authorizes and empowers the school district to execute said agreement with KSQ for the same.
So moved.
Second.
Although, just so everybody knows, these are the projects that are not in the bond. They're the ones that the voters voted upon within our actual budget. So these are additional projects. That's why there's an additional cost to them. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now we're up to capital bond projects. Resolved upon recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Yorktown Board of Education hereby empowers the Board President to enter into agreement with KSQ Architects for design service fees associated with the following capital bond projects: the high school, middle school entrance signage, the Crampon nurse's office renovation, the middle school Crampon kitchen ceiling and lighting replacements, the high school, middle school canopy replacement and renovation, the Brookside burner replacement, and central administration tunnel ventilation. The total contract value of $144,500 will conclude KSQ design service for the 2006 capital bond project referendum, and the cost of this contract extension will be paid from said capital bond proceeds. The Board of Education hereby authorizes and empowers the school district to modify this agreement with KSQ for the same.
So moved.
Second.
This is the end.
Wow.
guys. This is our last summer of our 6-year project that took 10 years.
It's hard to believe that.
I know.
That it's done, because like you're never done, but
And these are kind of not additionals, but they're.
yeah, it is what it is.
Yes.
I just want to make a note as well that we have just been so happy with both KSQ Architects and Aris Contractors. And your leadership on this, Jackie, just absolutely phenomenal. I've got to give it again. They just really held our hands and held everybody tight to what they promised to do. So they're apparently going to be looking for jobs coming up, so other districts feel free. But we're done.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And our last one, which is on us, is our motion to appoint Quality Environmental Solutions and Technologies, Quest as we call them, as the district's environmental consultant for hazardous waste design and testing services relating to the capital bond projects at the Yorktown High School, the front canopy and the tunnel ventilation, the middle school for the ceilings and lights, Brookside for the boiler burner replacement, and Crampon for the kitchen and nurse's office in the amount of $23,961. The Board of Education hereby authorizes and empowers the Board of Ed to execute an agreement with Quest for the same, contingent upon review of the agreement and proposal by the district's attorney.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And just so everybody knows, what we're planning to do next summer, it's the last of the bond projects, is the signage at the front of, and campus signage around. KSQ is, and Gary showed us this. The high school canopy, the middle school canopy will get some renovations to it. We're gonna renovate the nurse's office in Crampon. We're doing ceilings and lights in the kitchens at Crampon and the middle school. We got some tunnel ventilation and some burners at Brookside. So there's a lot of work, but that should end the project, but
Okay.
I think we're doing a lot of stuff next summer too. Okay, we are up to extension. A motion to extend the contract with Aramark for food service management effective July 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have some change orders. A motion to approve the following change orders. We have a deduct credit for Talt Electric from the middle school project, and we have a $5,000 payment to Clean Air for the middle school project as well.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Can I have a motion to approve, be it resolved that the Board of Education establishes the reimbursable meals for the 2015 school year as follows. Brookside and Mohansick at $250, Crampon at $260, middle school at $270, and high school at $280. These are no change from last year.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And I have a motion to approve the following contracts for French Hill. Amendment number 3 with Northern Westchester Musical School. Amendment number 4 with Soaring Eagle. Amendment number 3 with Lori Kelleher. Amendment number 6 with Energy Improvement Corporation. And amendment number 1 with Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? A tax cert. What a way to start the year, Tom. A motion to approve the following tax cert by order of the Supreme Court of the State of New York held in and for the County of Westchester on the 13th day of July 2015. A school tax refund in the amount of $38,256.70 is due to Oster Realty Corporation for the tax years 2012 through 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, Tom, how many of these are coming down the pike this year?
Well, we know, the one we're waiting for is the Strang Boulevard property, the office spaces over there.
Mercy College?
We expect that to be north of $500,000, so that's the big one, and we know that's coming. So, other than that, we'll have, these I consider small by comparison.
Okay, and we funded our,
We have $1 million reserve.
in
yeah.
tax cert? Okay. All those in favor?
Can I just ask
Aye.
one
Oh.
more question? Sorry. So, Tom, I just looked at, not that we're supposed to be real estate experts here, but do we ever look at this and wonder what's behind the analysis where the value of the property goes up, and then it dropped down again in 2014 when it appeared the market is
Yes,
not
we
following
have no
that here?
voice when it comes to the, oh, thanks, I thought it was my hearing. When it comes to being in front of the judge, we have no say on the valuation. That's completely up to the town of Yorktown. Historically, what the issues are is that the initial valuations placed on properties may be too high. And that's why they go back so many years. So most of these tax certiorari's we're dealing with are going back multiple years.
Yeah, that wasn't really what I was questioning. If you look at this analysis, it goes 11, 12, 13, and the valuation appears to be, the new valuations appear to be going up, and then it drops off by like, I don't know, $40,000, just from 13 to 14 when the market appears to not be following that same pattern. Do we have any cause to go back and question that, something like that, which just seems illogical?
No, we don't individually. We do through our attorneys. Copies of all our certiorari's go to our attorneys, and if they feel necessary to correspond with the town's attorneys, that's what they do on our behalf.
Okay,
But
so
I don't
we
have
just-
an answer to this one specifically.
Okay.
If you'd like, I can look into it and report back to you on that.
I guess what you're asking
It
is, do
just
we ever
seems-
get a heads up to understand these?
It just seems odd, right?
Yeah.
I mean, basically, there's the original assessed value, which is high, and then they have these new final assessed values, so I'm assuming the attorney or the new assessor agreed on. And these final assessed values just seem illogical based on what the market is right now. So I'm just wondering what our recourse is to go back and question something like that. Or who are we relying on to do that?
We're relying on the town assessor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you're asking, why did 14 drop as far as it did when everything else?
Yeah, from 13 to 14, the value dropped 20, 35, I don't know, $35,000 when the market around here, I'm not
going
sure that's consistent with what we know about the market. So I'm not a real estate expert, but it just seems off base.
I guess what we don't know is what this property is, so it
Exactly.
could depend
There
on
could
what
be
kind of a
extenuating
property.
circumstances.
But I think that, we've always paid out our tax certs when we're told to, so maybe this is one that Tom can follow up on and get back to us, just so we can understand
Yeah,
the process.
I still have to cut the check, but I will
Well,
certainly.
yeah.
But maybe as we know what these tax certs are, maybe we can get a better understanding of why they're doing what they're doing, so we can understand it. I guess what Tom's saying is we get these at the very end, and we don't have any choice but to say yes, even when we'd like to say no, but we kind of want to understand what their thinking is, and why did all of a sudden in a year when our property values weren't going down, did this one drop? Just an understanding. I agree.
That's also not part of this assessment.
It's not this section.
The 2014-15 drop shows no tax owed back because it
No, I'm
was-
talking about the 13-14 drop.
Well, the 13-14 drop was the least of all of the reductions.
Okay, maybe you and I are looking at two different pages. I'm
You looking at this?
looking at maybe a different version of it.
This was the first page.
Okay.
All right, well,
All right, well, Tom's going to get back to us. Good.
Yeah.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, contract for legal services. Be it resolved that the board president is hereby authorized to execute a retainer agreement with the law firm of Shaw, Pearlson, May, and Lambert for legal services during the 2015-16 school year at an annual retainer fee of $70,000. A copy of said agreement shall be incorporated by reference within the minutes of this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Paz Auto School, be it resolved that the board president is hereby authorized to execute an addendum to the agreement with Paz Auto School for a driver education program covering 9/1/2015 through 8/1/2016. A copy of said agreement shall be incorporated by reference within the minutes of this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, Tom, I guess the price is going up by $5 when I was reading within the contract
I don't know that off the top of my head. Per student?
per student.
Yeah, so that's the escalation. I thought you meant, we have the agreement with PAS. PAS's cost to the students are going up.
It's a pass-through, so
Yes.
it's not costing us anything, but students will be paying another $5.
That's correct, yeah.
For the contract, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, special education. Motion to approve the members of the Committee for Special Education, Preschool Special Education for the 2015-16 school year. These are addition, Chairperson Sabrina Casey and Patricia Klausner.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of placements. A motion to approve the following special education placements as of August 24th, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Contracts, a motion to approve contracts for the Devereaux Foundation, for Margarita Gendelman, and for Program for Little Learners.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Curriculum and instruction. I gotta read this. Resolution. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the board president and the superintendent of schools to execute the implementation certification form for its annual professional review, performance review for classroom teachers and building principals covered pursuant to Education Law, Section 3012C and Part 302 of the Rules of the Board of Regents.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now, a resolution to recertify lead evaluators of classroom teachers pursuant to Education Law, Section 3012C. Whereas pursuant to the requirement of the Education Law 3012C and Part 30-2.9 of the Rule of the Board of Regents, the individuals named below have completed all the necessary training to be recertified as lead evaluators of classroom teachers. Therefore, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby certifies the following individuals as lead evaluations of classroom teachers: Ken Levy and Linda Grimm.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Go ahead.
Ralph, can you just explain to the public why it is that we need additional help?
Yeah, so when the new APPR was put in place, the requirement was that every teacher, and then I'll back up what it was like before that, every teacher would be observed at least twice during the school year. Prior to that time, the teachers that were probationary teachers, that's a 3-year period now, which has become a 4-year period, they would be observed multiple times during the course of the school year, sometimes as many as 6. over a 3-year period. Now it will be a 4-year period. The other teachers that were already tenured, what would happen with them is they often had an opportunity to say, we're going to work on a project-based, evaluation this year. They would state the project, we would receive the information, we would approve the project, and then we would wait for the outcome of the project. That all changed with the APPR, saying that all teachers, probationary or tenured, everybody, well, probationary more than twice, all tenured teachers would be observed at least 2 times, and it's a rubric-based evaluation. We use the Danielson rubric. It has many facets to it. So I guess to give the Reader's Digest version, after I just gave you the Encyclopedia Britannica version, is the process has become a lot more complex and a lot more time-consuming, and there simply is not enough of us. And we all observe, everybody observes that can. There's just not enough of us to keep up with it.
And we also know, because they've worked for us, that they know the process, and they can just step right in and continue on. It's not just a matter of continuing a contract with them. They actually serve a purpose that meets the Yorktown's needs.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Linda and Ken were both strong evaluators.
Absolutely.
And did a great job when they were principals, and certainly are very, very familiar with the model that we use, the rubric that we use, and
Could I
they,
mention something?
sure, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that under the new APPR regulation, we're required to have outside evaluators.
Oh, okay.
So that,
Wow, that's
yeah.
a good answer.
That's a good
isn't
answer.
that- We always forget that, but that's part of
Yeah.
this fulfillment of regulation as well. And we're so pleased that they're available and they've been trained with us, and we think a lot of them, so.
But I do feel a little bad. We said goodbye to Linda, like goodbye, and then it's like we pull her back in. Same thing with him.
And when it's 300 teachers that are being observed twice, and I
Okay.
forgot that little detail, because that's a new detail that
Yeah.
the governor
A lot of people.
instituted this year.
Yep.
Beautiful.
So-
Thank you.
Yep.
So this is number 2 on the unfunded mandate list, if we're keeping count, starting in
Yes, it is.
September.
My mind already went back to our July meeting when we started doing it. So we're already well over 10.
All right, so now we're up to independent lead evaluators. So resolved upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education hereby empowers and approves an agreement with the district and Linda Grimm of LLG Educational Consultants, LLC, as an independent evaluator for the district, and hereby authorizes and empowers the board president to execute an agreement for the same upon approval of district council, and resolved upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education hereby empowers and approves an agreement between the district and Ken Levy of Highly Effective Educators, Inc. as an independent evaluator for the district, and hereby authorizes and empowers the board president to execute an agreement for the same upon approval of district council.
So moved.
Discussion, just so everybody knows, even though they have their own companies, we're only employing those 2 individuals from within the company, so they can't send somebody else in their stead. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, now we're up to appointments. Did everybody see we have a new form? This is what Sheila has decided we're gonna go with from now on. It looks very
I like it.
clean. I know, we all do like it, so thank you, Sheila. So upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion that the following be approved. We have appointments that we already pulled out one on, and we have teaching assistants, we have part-time temporary appointments, we have appointments for tenure teachers from the preferred eligibility list, we have recalled certified teaching assistants, regular substitute appointments, part-time AIS teachers, amendment of appointments, other compensation, coaches, co-curricular and extra duty, substitute appointments, leaves of absence, parental appointments, resignations, removed from the Pell list, resignations for the purpose of retirement, and volunteers.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ralph, we have the one
Oh, wait.
retirement.
What about this one? Classified personnel.
Oh, did I forget classified?
Yeah, there's more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, there's more. The whole list,
I'm sorry,
exactly.
the whole list, everybody just, the whole list.
So moved.
All 10 pages.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of,
Something about a retirement.
did we have a retirement in here? I was just looking.
That's what I'm looking.
Was there a retirement or just a resignation?
I thought there was no resignation.
There was, oh, no, no, we didn't, okay.
I didn't think there
There
was.
was there was a CTA retirement, Marjorie Muir, but did we, that was last time?
No,
Okay.
so we are good with this, okay. So that was that. Gifts, grants, and donations. A motion to accept with gratitude the following gifts, grants, and donations to the Yorktown Central School District from Phoenix Academy. They donated to the district 30 high school student desks, 30 high school student chairs, 10 whiteboards, 1 teacher desk, 1 2-drawer file cabinet, 8 plastic storage shelves, 2 round tables, and 1 half-circle table and floor safe. And Yorktown High School Huskers Club to purchase 1 AccuSpike Team Trainer Space Saver.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Take
And I
it, you
just
need
want
that?
everybody to know that the Huskers concession stand has arrived on our campus. It is beautiful, and we do so much thank the Huskers for their support and for all the good they will be doing for selling stuff this year. So thank you very much to them. We are up to board comments. Tom?
No comment.
Mike?
Thank you.
No, I'm good, you'll cover.
Karen?
No comment. Well, I want to add one piece. We started to do our walkthroughs today, and, as always, we want to thank our staff for really digging in hard and getting our buildings up and ready for our students and our staff to come back to. We're always very proud of that. So we continue them tomorrow to make sure that they are ready and appropriate for our kids. So thank you for everybody, and Tom and Dennis and your team of people who've been working hard on it. Thank you.
Anthony?
No comment.
Christine?
I was also highly impressed. I was fortunate to be able to join the team and my colleagues in the tour, the walkthrough, and the high school and middle school look amazing, and I'm sure tomorrow the visits will prove to be just as successful. And thank you to the administration for continuing to allow for our input on programs and planning. Thank you.
And again, I was impressed with the buildings. Dennis, I want to thank you for your leadership this summer, because we tore apart the lobbies in 3 elementary schools and the admin, and under your leadership, we got them all put back together before school starts. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Tom, Ralph, Florence, anything?
I'd like to thank Karen for recognizing KSQ and certainly Aris. It's been really a pleasure working with them for these 9 years.
Yeah.
In a 6-year bond, and I will look forward to working with them for 1 more year. I think what I enjoy most about them is how much they care about the district, how much they care about us, and how they want everything to be perfect. And Jackie, thank you for driving them crazy and getting them to do everything that needs to be done in a timely manner. And there's nobody that's quite like you when you want something done. It's just very different.
I don't know how to take that.
Oh, positively.
You get it done, Jackie.
Very,
You
very
get it done.
positively.
We won't show you the
On
text
time
to
and on
Dennis.
budget.
All right.
On time and on budget.
That's it.
And on Pepto-Bismol.
I don't know if this is very good.
It's very good, Jackie. Valuable part of the team.
All right, we're up to public comment. Anybody else have anything to say from the public? No? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Happy first day of school,
Yeah,
guys.
for the big school
Good
year.
night, everyone.